What's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. This is a video I have wanted to make, to be honest with you, since lockdown started, but I kind of wanted to give it a couple of weeks for me to actually go through a few weeks of lockdown and how I've changed my training and the things that I'm genuinely finding has helped. So the tips I'm giving you are 100% tried, tested, sweated out on a daily basis. So this video is going to be all about my top tips for getting the most out of your workouts whilst you're at home, how to actually make your home workouts work for you with like minimal kit, minimal space, all of that type of stuff. So it's going to be a good one. So tip number one is going to be to make sure that you plan your weeks. Now, this tip kind of applies to everything, not just workouts, but I feel like when you are at home, it's really easy to let schedules kind of go out the window because you haven't got any rules to live by except your own. No one's telling you where to be. But honestly, it is so important to kind of take those same kind of rules and commitments that you would have in terms of chunks of time, but apply them to your day at home. So what I mean by that is, if you would normally hit a spin class, for example, at 7 AM every morning, put that class time in your diary and make your workout happen at that time, as if you were having to show up to an appointment, to a gym class, to meet your friend, to train, whatever it is. Schedule it into your diary, and honestly, it makes you so much more accountable because that time has already been accounted for in your day. You've already committed to it. If you want to double the motivation, rope a friend into it. So maybe tag a friend in, jump on a Zoom call together or house party or whatever app you're using to kind of stay connected and train together at the same time. How cool is that? I mean, that is literally mad that we can do that, but seriously, that's good fun. Okay, tip number two is quite specific around how to make your training as effective when you haven't got access to as much kit. Now, I feel like this question has come up so much on my Instagram. You guys have been saying, you know, you're used to smashing insane deadlifts in the gym, or you're used to squatting or using the machines or whatever it is, and now you haven't got access to hardly anything. How do you make workouts as challenging, as effective? How are you still training well with minimal kit? So the biggest tip would be to get creative with how you add intensity to your sessions. So adding weight is obviously a way you can add intensity, a way you can progressively overload, but it isn't the only way. So there are a number of different ways which are totally home friendly. So I would try and give some of these a try. So the first is going to be to use a resistance band if you do have access to one. They can make exercises way more challenging. Throw them into a squat, throw them into a hip thrust, you name it. There are so many different ways you can use them. You can get long ones, you can get short ones. They're not very expensive, and if you can get your hands on them now, then they are also great to use as warm-up tools when you do get back in the gym. But they do help you be able to just add a little bit more resistance to an exercise if you haven't got access to weights or as heavier weights as you're used to. Next is to get creative with things that you've got at home which do have some weight to them. Now, I have seen so many funny, incredible videos on Instagram where people are using just crazy stuff that they find at home, but honestly, all you're looking for is something with a load that you can safely hold, carry, press, lift, curl, you name it. So get creative. I know I have got this really stinkingly huge plant pot that's made of concrete that we keep in the living room. Bang out a few goblet squats with that. That's got some serious weight to it. So yeah, just get creative with things you've got at home. I know you will have heard these before, but I'm going to say them anyway. If you haven't got access to dumbbells, things like 2 water bottles filled with water, filled with sand, filled with stones, things like cans of beans. Maybe you have got another great, amazing heavy plant pot like I've got. There are so many different things. Just get a little bit creative and just think outside the box a little. Next is to encourage you to do more reps or more sets of the exercises that you're used to doing. So you can add intensity by doing more volume. Obviously, adding more reps and doing more sets is a great way to do that. You can also add more intensity by decreasing your rest time. So where you're used to lifting a lot of weight and having to rest for longer periods of time, if you haven't got access to those same kind of loads, you can totally increase the intensity by decreasing those rest times. So keeping those rests short, snappy, and you will be sweating it out, I promise you. The final tip is to really focus on tempo and think about slowing down the movements. So I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you do exercises in half the speed, they are so much harder. Things like press-ups, squats, all of those compound movements, if you slow them right down and focus on tempo, maybe you add a pause at the bottom. There are so many different things you can do with tempo, and it is a great way to make an exercise more challenging without any resistance bands, any weights, anything. So give that a go. Okay, next tip is to plan and structure your week of workouts. So I know I'm the biggest fan of having a plan to follow. I just think it gives you so much more purpose, so much more structure to your weeks, and just make sure that you're not showing up every day thinking, what am I going to do today? You've kind of got a little bit of a plan that today you're doing upper body, tomorrow you're doing lower body, the next day you're hitting an ab and a full body sweat sesh, whatever it is. Just having that structure and plan to your week, sitting down on a Sunday night and figuring it out makes such a difference. I also think this helps you feel like you've got a little bit of a goal, and I'm not talking about an aesthetic one. I'm talking about building some structure into your workouts and your routine at the moment that help you maybe be able to achieve something like, maybe you want to nail a press up, a full body weight bad boy press up by the end of lockdown. Maybe you want to hit some handstands. Maybe you really want to work on the depth of your squat. Just giving some structure and focus to your training, I think, is really important. One of the reasons why I created my home training guide Empower was literally for that reason, is that I wanted to empower you guys with so much knowledge and tools and education and information of how to structure incredible home workouts. I know I keep talking about it, but it's just because I'm so passionate and so many of you are smashing it. It's just giving me so much life at the moment. So you can totally write your own plan. You can follow somebody else's. There are so many different ways that you can do it, but just having a plan to follow is a big tip. The next one is to think about maybe trying something new. So maybe you leave a little bit of time in that schedule to reach outside your normal comfort zone of your structured normal workouts. So what I mean by that is, I think we have got so much more time at the moment. I don't know whether you feel the same, but I feel like because I'm not traveling anywhere, I haven't got any of that like travel time, there's no other distractions of things to go out and do. I have got more kind of like playtime when it comes to workouts or just getting some movement in. So one of the things that I've been loving doing is I've been doing live workouts on my Instagram every single day, Monday to Friday. I've been doing them and they've been incredible. Honestly, the energy that it's given me to train with so many of you at the same time it blows my mind in the best way possible. So it doesn't necessarily have to be my live workouts, but maybe try someone's live workout on a lunch break and just mix things up a bit. Maybe you decide you want to dedicate some time to some yoga. I know I keep sharing on my stories that I keep trying some yoga flows. I'm just digging it, okay? I'm just trying it and I'm enjoying it. So maybe you just spend some time to have a play and try a few different things and just leave 1 to 2 sessions in a week, which you put down as like fun sessions that you just have a play, try and master a new skill, pick up a hobby, like any of those things. I think it's just, now is the time to get yourself a little bit excited about something else or training in a slightly different way. Okay, my final tip for you guys is to make sure that you are resting and recovering. So in mind of everything that I've just said, what I want you to remember is, yes, you might be moving a little bit less because you're not rushing around, you're not having a super active day job if you usually are, but now you're at home at your desk all the time. Everyone's lives have definitely changed, and I know that mine has slowed down in some ways, but I also feel like I've had to check myself that I'm not overcompensating for that. I think it can be really easy basically to show up to a live workout, then do a yoga flow in the evening, then do a weight session, then do an evening walk, then do like, and the list goes on, and actually when you look back, you've done way too much exercise for one day. So I would just be careful of that and just check in with yourself and make sure you are resting and recovering. I feel like there's a bit of a pressure that you can put on yourself when you are at home to make sure you're always doing something. But trust me, you are allowed to rest as much as you normally would, if not more so. And just take this time to really soak that rest in, because your body definitely needs it. So don't feel like because you're not lifting as much weight around, or you're not smashing a ridiculously hard spin class, that you don't deserve to rest as much, because you definitely do. So just make sure you're resting, please. Right, I think that is it, to be honest with you. I hope those tips have been helpful. Please do make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below if you did enjoy it, because it helps support my channel. Come and say hey on Instagram, because you need to check out these live workouts. I'm literally killing myself doing them, but it is too much fun. So come and check those out. And there's also been workouts going up on my feed as well, pretty much every day. I just feel like I put so much energy into content for you guys, and workouts and just things which might help in some way, shape or form. So I hope that it is, and I hope you're enjoying it. But any suggestions for the next video, what you want to see, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.